So this is Moonlighter. I played this a little bit today during my lunch break. I've only played about an hour, and I actually spent part of that hour messing around with settings and things, trying to get the game to work the way that I wanted it to. And it actually it underscores some interesting things about game development that you don't often hear people talking about. So before we get into the game proper, I wanted to kind of show you some of the process that I went through and some of the challenges that you kind of don't always think about. So first, let me switch into a different view of my screen. So this is my actual desktop, and so you can see I play Moonlighter in a window so that I can do things like, have my chat on the screen at the same time. And so I like playing all of my games in windowed mode if I can. But then if I open the options menu and then I tab to the right, oh my gosh, it didn't do it. Oh, there we go. So what usually happens is I'll set it to 16 by 9, right? I'll close that window, I'll open up options, go to the right, boom! And it defaults to filling the screen again. And so every time I want to change an option, I have to change the resolution back to the way I wanted it. Which was crazy because I actually, when I first started playing the game, I looked at the controls, and they had the main attack button on A, and a few other things that I'm just really not used to. I never push the A button to attack in any of the other games that I play. A is usually a jump or a dodge or an interact button or just something else. And so I kind of needed the main attack button to be on X. But then that led to a cascading series of problems because if you don't map A to something, then A switches your weapons. So every time I was interacting with anything in the world that required me to push the A button, because the A button is automatically set to be the UI interact button, which I was not going to try to remap that because that would just be crazy going around pushing a different button for interacting with the UI. But basically, if you don't map A to something, it switches your weapon. So every time I was interacting with anything, I was also switching my weapon. And so I ended up like with my fists or a broom half the time in combat. So I eventually found Pendant Shortcut, which is a button that you only hold. It doesn't do anything when you tap it. It only works when you hold it, which is perfect. So I put A on that, and that actually solved my problems. But the problem was, because I kept having to come back in here again and again to remap keys, I kept having to pass through the graphics settings, which just kept bouncing my resolution back up to the maximum. So I was just losing my mind trying to mess with this game today. So the thing is, that's the kind of thing where, people discover that kind of problem in the wild. They don't often discover that kind of problem when they're testing. Think about it. If you're the tester assigned to test a game, and you're supposed to test all of the elements of the menu, well, you'll go over to the graphics and you'll test to make sure, oh yeah, when I change the resolution changes in all the ways that it's supposed to change. Yep, that works. And you mark down that works properly the way it's supposed to. And then you move on and you test something else. You might never actually come back to the graphics settings in a situation where you would record the bug that it pops out to the maximum resolution. In fact, if most people are playing the game with full screen on, they might never run into that. So it's actually one of the biggest challenges of being a tester is thinking of the weird combinations of situations that you might need to test under. Things that no one would imagine that something would go wrong under those circumstances, but you have to imagine it so that you can find it. And also, it's really easy for something like that to pop up at the very last minute. Like some programmer needed to fix a different bug. They fixed that bug, and that fix caused this bug to happen. And if that new bug got introduced since the last time a tester went through and tested this entire menu thoroughly, the bug could easily make it into the final game. And, similarly, I'm pretty sure that no one made the conscious decision that when I leave the A button unbound, like I did when I originally set up my controls, I don't think anyone planned specifically for that to then change your weapons. I'm betting it's just a weird confluence of events that led that to be the case. And it ended up being kind of a disaster for me. But, how many different ways would you have to test the game? How many different combinations of control, settings would you have to try before you found that one that I found that caused me a problem? You'd have to do a lot, and it's completely, even though I'm sitting here starting my video by pointing out these errors and these weird issues, I'm not pointing them out to like rip on the game. I'm pointing them because this game is actually really cool. There's some fun and innovative things I'll get into in a minute. But I just wanted to point out like actually how easy it is to accidentally let issues like that slip into a game. And when you play a game that has issues like that, it's okay to get annoyed and upset, but just don't get angry at the developers, because there's so much complexity that goes into systems like this, and having it's a miracle when so little goes wrong. Anyway, though, I'm gonna switch out of that mode though. So now if it changes resolution, you won't be able to tell, hopefully. So anyway, I've got the controls set up the way I want to, so let's actually get into the game proper. Yeah, so Cloudcraft has just joined us, and he points out that any good testing should consist of elements of do chaotic stuff and see what happens. And one of the issues is when you're working on testing a game, a lot of the time you're already so aware of all of the just the known things that might go wrong, that the list of things that you need to test in a very organized and predictable way, sometimes that list alone is longer than you have time to test. And so actually getting time and reserving time to just test freeform and chaotic stuff, sometimes you just don't even get time to do it, because there's so many fundamental things you have to test just to hit the baseline. Okay, so this is Moonlighter. Right here, this is my little artifact shop. Now, it's in the middle of the night right now, so nobody's coming in, but you can see that I've got some artifacts set out here on my table. I've actually got a bunch in my inventory that I'm about to discard into my chest so I can go out and get more. I have plenty of room to pick up more things. So this is one of the mini games that are out there right now that are about adventuring in a dungeon and coming back and running a shop of some kind. You got like Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop. You've got Epic Tavern. A lot of games like this. So this is one of the more fun ones that I've found. So we'll come back and see how the shop works in a minute, after I've done some adventuring. And we're gonna head out here. Yeah, so I Be the Scarecrow says that's why you gotta have two saves, the serious one and the joke one. That's true. Like even, and you might be saying that about when you're just playing a game, but even when you're like a game developer, you're testing it. Like I had that going on when I was testing State of Decay 2, up until release. I had two saves on my local Xbox. I had one that was my serious game, where when I wanted to test the experience of a real person playing through the game with real expectations of long-term consequences to their actions and a story arc and all that stuff. There was one save that I would test that way, and then another save that was just for whenever I needed to cheat and just put garbage into the game to make weird stuff happen. I didn't want to corrupt my serious save with that, so I had a separate save that was just about garbage. And actually, I do a similar thing when I'm streaming State of Decay 2. I've got one save that's my serious save on my profile, and then I've got another save which is just the one that I'm willing to hand over to Brant without worrying about him destroying all my characters. So as you can see, this has got a little bit of a kind of a Binding of Isaac structure to it. Okay, let that guy go. Oh no, don't fall in. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's got kind of a Binding of Isaac structure to it. You've got these rooms that are procedurally assembled. I don't know if the individual rooms are actually procedurally generated. They might be, set up by hand, but definitely how they connect to each other is procedurally generated. So each time you come out here, it's different. Enemies tend to have very predictable patterns, and the entire combat system actually tends to focus on the cardinal and semi-cardinal directions. So there's no just free-form, attack and move any direction you want to. Most of your attacks are either aligned left, right, up, down, and if you're very, very good, which I am not. You can get something to go diagonally occasionally. I think if I was using the D-pad, it might be a little bit easier. Anytime you walk into a desk, it just collapses, because, you know, because you're a big, tough guy. That's why. But as you are killing these monsters, they're filling up your inventory with crap. And then you're going to go to your store and sell this crap for money. Read. Today marks the first step into these mysterious dungeons. They were discovered not far from Ranoka, a small and incredibly charming village just north of the crater. And they're quite a unique occurrence. Any number of adventurers may enter a dungeon at once, but no one will adventure together. These dungeons seem to build themselves around the one entering. A unique maze for each person, never the same labyrinth twice. One must ask, though, if no one is currently inside the dungeon, does it even exist? Now these are the questions. Many right now are flooding to these dungeons for their treasure, completely disregarding the inherent danger of the hostile creatures inside. Just for some gold, some fame. But not I, no. It's all about the questions for me. Where do these dungeons come from? Why do they constantly shift and change? And why are they filled with unseen treasures? I'm not here for the what. I'm here for the how and why. So it's interesting, like, when you're making a procedurally generated game, to figure out how to put a story into it. So it looks like they've probably got a series of these, like, rooms with books. Or maybe just a set of rooms that can have, you know, any book in them. And they'll just, you know, step through, maybe it's a defined series of books that you get to read, or I don't know, maybe they can appear in any order. It's all kinds of different ways you could set it up. But yes, I Be the Scarecrow, this game does feel a lot like it's a Binding of Isaac RPG. Only it's got, as you might not have seen before you joined, it's also got a shopkeeping component to it, which makes it pretty interesting. It's one thing that's challenging. Any game that, holy crap, I'm doing poorly. Any game that decides to do multiple things is kind of taking on a little bit of an insane challenge. It's hard to do multiple things well at the same time. And when you're doing multiple things at the same time, not only is it hard to do them well, but they also run the risk of interfering with each other. Like, you know, like if you make the shopkeeping game too big and complex, it could distract your attention from the adventuring game, and vice versa. So coming up with the right balance for, you know, a complicated set of game mechanics can be really challenging. It's much, you know, easier and more straightforward to make a game like, say, Nuclear Throne or Binding of Isaac, which only does one thing, but does that one thing very well. We'll see you later, Cloudcraft. Thanks for joining us. Why? Why do our tools keep disappearing? Chambers full of precious stone are left untouched, but rooms and chests holding our most basic tools keep vanishing. I do like a game that, notice that I'm healing, by the way. I do like a game that, you know, notices its own weird game mechanics and leans into them with the story. Tells a story around the weirdness, rather than just sort of expecting you to accept whatever happens because, you know, video games. Oh, so because I'm so used to God of War, I keep hitting the A button to dodge. And originally, because, you know, I said earlier that I remapped the controls. Originally, I actually had the A button be dodge, because I knew that was what I was getting accustomed to. The problem is, because the A button is also the button that I use to open chests, like this one, I was dodging past chests all the time when I was trying to open them. So that doesn't work. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. So cursed items. So you get items. So these are the simplest curses. Item must be placed to the right or left of the bag. Great. You know, item must be placed at the top or bottom of the bag. So you can imagine that if you get too many of that type of item, the curse starts interfering with what you're trying to do. There are other curses that get even more interesting as you progress deeper into the dungeon. So I assume it has something to do with progressing. Oh! Okay, I need to time that way better. What is that guy doing? Oh, and now I fell down, and now I'm... Okay, I can't hurt him. So what? What the crap? Okay. Oh, he killed me. Dang, I was trying to use my pendant to escape. Well, that was unfortunate. Let's try that again. Was that guy there? Was he like the ghost in Spelunky? Was he there because I was taking too long? That was weird. Okay, yeah. I've already read that. Oh, no! I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the way the animators in this game have animated liquid. You know, using just simple 2D animation. They do so many crazy things with liquid in this game. I feel like that takes a really skilled animator to be able to make liquid look really good in a game like this. Okay, so that liquidy door right there, that's the door to the next level of this dungeon. So I'm gonna... Nope. I'm gonna save that door for later. I'm gonna go somewhere else first. I'm gonna get as much as I can out of the dungeon. I'm gonna heal. I don't know what that book is. So each enemy has a pretty clear, way you're meant to fight them. And things get really... They mostly get complicated when you get lots of really different enemies in the same room. Nope. Oh, dang it. Thought I could hit that guy. Do I just... There we go. Collecting goo. Hello, sir. Ah, crap. What the? Oh, did I just... Ah! Ah! I suck. Nope. I'm gonna try again. So if I can manage to get out, and I can leave any time I want. Once I've gotten a certain amount of gold, I think. Actually, let's look. Oh, I can't look at my inventory yet. Okay. So yeah, I think I can use my pendant with a certain amount of gold. Yeah, so I've got that much gold. I've got 841, you can see in the upper left-hand corner. So I can spend gold to go back home anytime I want to without actually completing the dungeon, which is fine, because I don't think I'm good enough at this game yet to complete a dungeon. It's the same scroll as always? Yup, go away. So you can see why I suspect that the contents of the rooms are not procedurally generated. I think it's just the pattern of room assembly that is procedurally generated. And what shows up in the containers and stuff. Ow! How? Okay, I got off rhythm there for a second. Alright, so that's the door to the next level, but definitely not going to the next level until I've at least healed up. Oh, Scarecrow, I don't know if this is on Xbox or not. these guys steal items. Oh, so if items fall into a hole, that's it. They're gone. Yeah, so I don't know what platforms this is on, Crow. I know I heard about it being on Steam. That's where I got it, but that doesn't mean anything really. It's more remarkable if the game is not on Steam than if it's on Steam. Okay, so I think that's the last room in here. You can't see, but there actually is a mini-map constantly updating behind my face right now. Actually, I think, well, it's actually kind of hard to click away from this game, so I'm not going to try to move my face. Right, so again, I love the way liquid looks in this game. Doesn't that look ridiculous? Okay, so now I'm going to level 2 of the dungeon. So the monsters will get harder. Oh, whoop. Ow. Okay, there we go. Anything else here of value? Just a broken sword. Whatever. No big deal. Oh, just one little guy? Oh crap! Nope, stop. Stop eating me. I don't think he hurts me. I think he just holds me still so that other guys can hurt me. So running to a room with just that guy by himself doesn't seem like that big a deal. What is this? Ow. 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 Okay. Okay, hold on. This seems bad. Okay, I'm just gonna flee. Because we spent enough time watching me die. So I got that stuff in my backpack, defeated those enemies. Awesome. Let's go to town. Hey there, Taylor. Alright, so again, look at the water. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so it's daytime. I'm here at my shop. So let's open it. So let's grab some of my stuff that I've got a lot of. Try to sell some things. And let's at least try one thing I haven't sold before. Okay. Actually, well, whatever. Alright, so these are the prices that I've set for other items that I've brought here before. So I can mess with these things. So I've never sold one of these red crystals before. So I'm guessing that maybe 200 gold is a good price for it. I've never sold one of these things before, so I'm guessing maybe 1,000 gold. I'm totally making these numbers up off the top of my head. I did this, right at the end of my last game. But I've actually carefully examined these metal bars. So you can see here on the book on the right, you can see highlighted, see the little happy face? So people had sort of a happy face reaction to these metal bars when I sold them for 30 gold. If I sold them for 10 gold, people flipped out of that. Wow, this is a huge steal. I'm going to buy 1,000,000 of these. And if I sold it at 40 gold, people were like, no, that's way too much. So I'm trying 35 right now to see if people will buy it at 35. So you see, like, they've got kind of a supply and demand thing going on here where you experiment to see what prices people will accept. And then when you find a price, you can keep selling it at that price for a while, but when you sell enough of it, demand for it goes down and actually people start wanting it at a lower price. So it's all just about like experimenting with the marketplace and just sort of figuring out how things work. So I'm going to open up the shop and folks are going to come in and they're going to start responding to my prices. So he's going to look at those metal bars and he's like, nope, too much. So I'm like, okay, hold on. I know 30 worked. What about 32? 32 okay? hey, he likes the whetstone at that price. So yeah, I'll totally sell that. Looks like he was he sad about both of these? Hold on. Let's look. So you can see a record now of, yeah, he was sad at 200. So I can't remember if it was Jesse Shell. I think it was Jesse Shell that taught people you should always just have or double numbers when you're trying to tune something. Just always start with the big changes first. And then move on to the smaller changes later. All right, so what else? So let's find something that I have a lot of. Like I think I've already established a good price for the teeth stone. Let me look. So I look in the book, and like, yeah, so people were happy at 6 and they were miserable at 7. So 6 is the right price for this. So I'm gonna leave it at 6. You want to usually experiment with the pricing of something by only selling one of it, and then later on you can load it. You can load your shop down with more of that same item. But you don't want to, one mistake that I made early on was putting a ton of the same item out on the table when I actually wasn't sure how much I should charge for it, and I ended up giving away a lot of stuff that I could have charged way more money for. So yes, Taylor, this is Moonlighter that we're checking out. So let's see what else. So wait, what did we? I'm trying to remember. What did we learn about this? Oh, did the guy buy it for 32? Oh, I don't remember now. Oh yeah, he did. He did. Okay, she wasn't happy, but she bought it anyway. And that guy liked that price. Okay, so let's... Wait a minute. So let's sell this one for 30. Because people were actually happy. And it's close enough, right? And what did this guy buy? Oh, yeah, he's buying the little tooth things. Okay, and that guy is buying that red crystal at that price. So how did he feel about that? Hold on, let's put another red crystal out there. He thought that was a fair price. I wonder if I can raise it. Let's try it at 150. No, 130. Let's go 130. Well, these guys are happy with their purchases. Oh yeah, because these are my well-established prices. So yeah, of course people like them. And I think... Were people happy with the whetstone at 15? Yeah, 15 was a good price for the whetstones. So let's keep that out there, and then I think I've never sold a broken club before, but I was actually surprised at how much people would pay for broken swords. So I'm gonna try that sucker at 200 and see if people will buy it. So she's not super happy with the price of that crystal, but she will buy it. Oh, so yeah, so she thought that club was a steal. You see the gold in her eyes? So I'm letting that club go for way less than I should. So have people reacted to this price? Yeah, 500 is too much. Okay, let's try 250. And let's put the whetstone up. And so somebody was... Okay, they like it at 100. Not super thrilled at 130. Let's try 110. And this time I don't mind giving up a lot of it at once. And then let's do some test pricing for this guy. 20. Looks like a 20 sort of thing. I get it pretty cheaply out in the field. Hey, check out my wares, everybody. She likes the whetstone's price. I think it's only one whetstone, so... Oh, she didn't like it. Didn't like these guys at 20. Well, I'm kind of not surprised. Let's try them at 10. Hey, come back. I've changed the price. Oh, don't go away. Oh, come on, guys. do you think of the 10? Huh? 10? Oh, still too much? Hold on, hold on. Oh! But he likes the crystal at that price. So let's sell that crystal. Put another one out there. Okay, she likes the likes that priced at 10. Okay, this guy is too expensive still. So set it at 150. And then glass lenses, huh? No idea. 25, let's say. And oh, I know it. Yeah, I think I already have a price established for these. 110. So oh, I think it's getting to be nighttime. Anybody gonna buy stuff? Oh, wait a minute. I thought it. Oh, so here's the problem. You can see someone's reaction to the price for a given item, but the price, the automatic price that it gets set to when you place it, doesn't get updated until after you actually sell the item. And so I could see, oh yeah, my new price of 5 works really well for these little slime piles. And so I'll come in and I'll put more slime piles on the table while the person is still walking to the register, but it'll automatically come out at 10 instead of at 5 because the person hasn't actually bought the item yet. So it's a little bit, it's another one of those kind of minor interface issues. Right, so that's my day. So I sold all that stuff and made all this cash. And so now it's time for me to go to bed, right? Unless, is it adventuring time? It might be adventure time. Let's go have an adventure. So, I be the Scarecrow. So, making money helps in a couple ways. For one thing, you need money to try to come back alive from a challenging dungeon. But second of all, when you get enough money, you can start to invest in other shops, like investing in bringing other shops to town. And the other shops, I believe, I haven't gotten there yet. I believe the other shops are going to be able to provide you with equipment that you take down here to, get better at exploring and fighting the dungeon. Oh my gosh, I am the worst at this game. There we go. Oh, got more cursed items. Yay! I need a health bath. So yeah, so Taylor, the way that I tune the pricing of items in my shop is by gauging customer satisfaction. If people are kind of too happy and they feel like they're taking advantage of me, that's how I can tell I need to raise my prices. But there's a customer mood that will cause people to be sad but still buy the item. And the game gives me a lot of negative feedback for that. Oh, crap. Ah. And so I'm assuming that there's a reason why I should not want everyone to be dissatisfied with my prices over the long haul. I'm not sure what it is, but just like, I think if you sell the same item too much, eventually people will start only accepting it at a higher price. Oh, dang it, let me out. Sorry, at a lower price. People will only buy it at a lower price. Because the market is flooded. I haven't seen that effect yet, but people have said that that effect is there. So my assumption is that there are multiple choices you can make that lead to overall changes in the marketplace, and maybe making people unhappy with your prices or unhappy with your shop has a long-term effect. I'm not sure. I'm making all of this up. Because, you know, just like I said before, when you've got a game that is complex and has a lot of, you know, a lot of different mechanics in it, there's a limit to how complex you should want to make each of those mechanics. Kind of like how, you know, State of Decay does not have a super complicated base creation system, because running your base is not the only thing you do. You know, if you want to have super complicated, you know, base management, go to a game like RimWorld or something, which is only about base management. For State of Decay, because we also have an action game, there was a limit to how complex we could make the other aspects of the game. That was a very conscious thing. We had a lot of discussions about, you know, exactly how much complexity was too much complexity. Because, you know, I mean, every designer loves to sit around and think about clever ways to further and further deepen the game mechanics that they're designing. And it's hard to sort of tell yourself where to draw the line and cut yourself off. But it's really important. So, I was attacked by a moving rock today. Can you imagine? A rock that moves? I did what any sensible person would do in this situation, and smacked it right back. It shattered upon the ground, leaving behind a stone heart. A core, as we've come to call it. It's one of the many unique treasures that can only be found in this dungeon. Dropped by a guard unique to only this dungeon. I have to say, each of these dungeons have a very particular environment. A culture all its own. So yeah, it seems like every time I come into a room that's got this tent in it, and a book, the book says something new. Whereas the scroll in the health fountain room doesn't do that. Oh, holy crap. It's a rock. Oh crap, that one just does not... Neither of them does? What the... Oh, I just fell off a cliff. Okay. So, how do I... Okay, so my attacks aren't having any effect? I think I have to flee then. Like, I have no idea what's up. Like, because the first couple times I hit it, I did damage it, but then it just stopped working and I wasn't sure why. Alright, whatever. I'm back home. I don't need to sleep, by the way. Let me real quick see what I got in here. So, is there anything that I can make a deeper stack of? Looks like, yeah, I can make a deeper stack of that. Of that. Some of these are kind of unique. Sure. That and that. Why not? Alright, let's open the shop. Hey everybody! Come buy my crap. Yay, she's happy with her crystals. Oh, he loves the price he got that lens for. Okay, good to know. So let's try another lens. And 25 is clearly too low. Let's try that. And let's just get rid of some bulk stuff that we know we can sell. So, oh, okay, so the core is too expensive still? Fine. Let's try 100. Yay, he's happy. It's interesting seeing the same people come back multiple times. Like, Okay, so she likes the lens at that price. Which was 100. Let's see if we can just gouge people just a little bit more. And I can't. What did we learn about this? Oh, have we still not sold one? Oh, we probably haven't finished selling one. Okay, he was happy at that price, so we're gonna wait until he actually buys it at that price. And then we will put a bunch out at that price. We put a bunch of these out and a bunch of these out because we already know what prices they sell for. Yay, cores. So once you've actually learned the right prices for these things, you can actually make a lot more money when you're not experimenting as much. Okay, so let's put some more stuff out. I already know the price of that. Just blow through some stuff I've already priced. And I don't remember. Okay, I guess I did price those. And then we've never priced these guys. Let's try 50. I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, 50 is clearly way too little for those things. I guess I didn't have that many of them. Let's see if 500 works. And similarly, actually, wait. I don't think I've found a good price for this, have I? Let's see. Oh no, yeah, people were happy at 240. Okay, cool. And I know the price of that. Get our stuff. Yeah, old man, buy the cheapest thing in the store, sure. Does she like that price? Okay, the price is too high. And we did pretty well for ourselves. Okay, so now I've got 6,800. So that means there's something we can do over here. So I can make investments in the town. So we can get a forge for 500. The wooden hat, which is magic items and potions, and then just buy random stuff. Okay, well, let's invest in this guy. So, okay, so he moves into this little lot, and he'll build up his little shop here. Yay! So there's someone I can talk to. Okay, let's also, while we're at it, get this woman to move into town. So I mean, Scarecrow is wondering if each of like the interesting different characters that show up in my store, if each of them maybe has their own separate price preferences. So I can imagine there might have been a version of this game during development where that actually was the case, but I'm betting I'm betting somebody thought of that and maybe even tried it, but I think they probably simplified it just because it would be so frustrating to try to come up with a good price when people were giving you conflicting feedback about it. When the entire method of determining prices in this game is collecting information on feedback and trying to set a thing. However, occasionally we did have a character come in, buy something, and be sad about it. So it could be that characters have individual preferences, like, oh, here's a thing I will buy even if I don't like the price, but I'll be sad about it. And maybe that's where the wiggle room comes in. Yeah, so Taylor's like, does investing in other shops not technically cause direct competition? So you'll notice my character does not sell weapons. My character does not sell potions. My character sells raw materials and artifacts. So I think they deliberately drew that line so that when I invest in these other shops, I'm making an investment in an unrelated business, not in competition. Aye, you must be Will, no? The one who requested my forge? My name is Andre, Forge Master Extraordinaire. If it's weapons or armor you seek, Vulcan's Forge is the place. Okay, so I can get a fabric bandana. Okay. So if I own the requirements for it, then I can... Okay, so I have owned all of these things at various times. I just need to pay attention and not collect those things. Swords and shields. Okay, so I can't build any of these yet, but now I'm aware of the fact that this is a thing. Okay, and then we can head over here and look at what this woman over here is selling. Oh, a customer! My apologies, it's just this book, it's so good. Okay, yes, I am Eris, weaver and potion master. Come to the Wooden Hat when you need a potion or enchantment. What do you want to craft today? Potions. Okay, so just different size health potions plus potions with different effects, and these don't have reagents, these just have prices. Okay, good to know. Well, how do enchantments work? Okay, so first I have to have an item, probably. Oh yeah, okay, so this is the sword and shield that I already have. And so I could raise its attack significantly if I had 3 of these crystals, which I have had historically. So I will probably have again. Alright, that's cool. So there's one other thing. Who's this guy? Have you found any new culture or artifacts in the dungeons, Will? I don't know. So let's look at the other thing we can do here, which is making investments in the shop. So these are expensive. So I've got shop level 1. So this expands to allow merchants to decorate it to please their customers. That requires 8,000 though, and I don't have that. So we can have a cheap sale box. Items sold in this sale box will have a 75% discount. Why would I do that? I don't think I want to do that. Iron cash register. This useful cash register will entice customers to add an extra 10% tip when paying. Comfortable new bed that will grant adventurers extra health in the morning. Extra space for your items. This seems the most immediately useful because I die a lot. I'll hold on to the rest of that capital. So let's queue something up for tomorrow here. Except I don't really have anything that's easily priced, so I'm gonna leave that for tomorrow, and then let's dump everything in here and sleep because I got a better bed now. right, so I think, yeah, so I've got extra health there, you can see at the top of the screen. So I think that I could go adventuring during the day, and I think that actually affects the difficulty of the dungeons. Or I could open the shop right now, I think. But I think I'll do neither of those things, and quit playing the game for now. So that's how that works. Because today is sort of my weekend roundup, and I've got a lot of other games I want to play. So that is Moonlighter. It's really interesting. They do a lot of cool stuff with it. And yeah, so we'll go play something else now.